Okay, good Tavach, everybody. We're holding on Daf Chaf Amid Beis. 1, 2, 3, 4 lines from the bottom. Three, four lines from the bottom. So Amar Rav Seira, Amar Rav Nachman, Kol Sveika L'Kamei Shadinan. Any Sveika, anytime you have a suffix, the day of the suffix, we always push ahead. We'll always go ahead and push it ahead. Let's see Rashi here. Says Rashi, Kol Sveika L'Kamei Shadinan, 4 lines from the bottom. Ein anu tzrichim lahagdim Pesach esukas b'yudalid. We never have to go ahead and take into account that Pesach might be on the 14th day of the month rather than the 15th or the 16th, being that they went ahead and there's a suffix when they made Rosh Chodesh. Liyam shloishim shel Adar v'shel Elul, machmas suffix. Shema kitshu bezdin es achodesh b'yom esrim b'tisha. In other words, bezdin is never going to be mekadosh on the 29th day, only the 30th and 31st. Since it's only the 30th and 31st, we only have to take into account two possibilities, the 15th or the 16th. That's why we keep 2 days of Pesach. There's never a suffix on the 29th. They're never going to blow it and make it a day earlier. It's going to be the day or the day later. So therefore, we have to make it on the 16th day, may suffix. Shema Ibru Besdin as Adar, maybe they made Adar a mole instead of a chaser. The kavu b'nisim b'yam shloishim v'echad b'chein be'elul. So too by Tishrei, the same thing. Even though we know that they never made Elul Malay, from the May Ezra was always chaser. Nonetheless, those are the 2 days. So again, you never have to worry that they made it earlier, that you would make Pesach on your Dalet as a suffix Teslav. It's only whether it's 30 and then it's Teslav, 31 and then it's 16, right? And those are the 2 days that we make it. Lememra, back in the Gemara, as a Lememra, this is a statement. The Chamisa v'Shitzar, 15th and 16th Avdinon. You make Pesach on the 15th or 16th of Elul, of Nisan. Arbisa, but on the 14th day, Lo Avdinon. Read the Gemara the following. So guys, they never blow it on what? They never blow it on the 29th. So Elul will either be the 30th, let's say Adar. Adar will always be either the 30th or the 31st. What happens if the month before Adar, let's say Shvat, you made it what? It was a chaser. It wasn't a malay, it was a chaser. So in other words, you go back 2 days. So you have 2 chaserim, maybe Taka, on the 29th day of that next month is the 30th day. You might blow it from being it was 2 chaserim in a row. For Elul, or the chasru Elul, then made 2 chaserim. So therefore, you'd have to take into account the 14th day. And for the Gemara, trei yarchi chaseri kala islu. If you have 2 chaserim in a row, there's a call to that. People hear about it. Let's see Rashi. The tevis chisru memanavshach keseda halvana. Right, teves is going to be chaser according to the seder of the levana. Ve'echad malay, ve'echad chaser. Again, we like the acherim. We have 354 days a year. 1 chaser, 1 malay. Him isa to chasru l'shvat. And if you're going to go ahead and make after teves shvat 2 in a row, kvar yotza hakol lifnei Pesach. By Pesach, you would have known that there were 2 in a row. Ubo etzleinu aflu makam she'en shluchi besn shel nisan magian. And it would reach us even before the shluchim can. It's going to be Av is going to be a chaser, and Tammuz is going to be a chaser, and then you're going to have to take into account Elul might be a day earlier, guys. Then you don't have to worry about it. So therefore, we only take into account the 15th to 16th and not the 14th. Levi ikla the Bavel. Levi showed up in Bavel b'chatzer b'tishrei on the 11th day of Tishrei. This is a Madna Gemara. Levi shows up on the 11th day of Tishrei, the day after Yom Kippur. And he smells in Bavel that the people are eating. Amar, Basim Tavshila de Bavloi, Biyuma Rabba de Marava. The people in Babylonium are spicing up the Tavshilin on the Yomi Rabba of Marava, on Yom Kippur in Eretz Yisrael. Question, how could Levi travel on his Yom Kippur, right? So it says he came before, he was outside the Tchum, Rashi, Taisa Springs. Amalei. So the Emilei, they told Levi, acid, so testify. If you testify based upon the Levana that you heard Bezdin Mekadesh Levana, therefore we'll start fasting now. So Amalahu, he said to them, Levi said, Lo shamati mi pi Bezdin Mekudesh. I did not hear from the mouth of Bezdin Mekudesh, and therefore I can't testify. Since I didn't hear from the mouth of Bezdin Mekudesh, I can't testify. Next in, Machruz Rabbi Yochanan, Kol heiche de mote shluchei Nisan, v'le mote shluchei Tishrei. Anytime where the shluchi of Nisan could reach, v'le mote shluchei Tishrei, la'abru cheyume. You have to make 2 Yom Tovim, gezeira Nisan ata Tishrei. Now, fellas, we're going to see in the Gemara, when it comes to being Mekadesh Levana, the Eidim come into Mekadesh Levana, then we're Mechal Shabbos. When it comes to Eidim informing people, the Shluchim, not the Eidim, but the messengers that went out, they're not Mechal Shabbos. 2 Yom Tovim that we allow them to, that 2 Yom Tovim that are key are Nisan and Tishrei, because of Pesach and because of the Mayadais. However, the messengers of Tishrei will not be able to travel as far as the messengers of Nisan, because they have 2 Yom Tovim, they won't be able to travel. They won't be able to travel on Sukkot, they won't be able to travel on Rosh Hashanah, they won't be able to travel, not Sukkot, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. 2 days, the ones on Nisan will be able to travel straight, but they have 2 days, they have, and the Shabbos, you take Shabbos into account, but Shabbos would apply to both. So the shluchim of Tishrei would not reach as far as the shluchim of Nisan. So let's say the shluchim of Nisan reached to this point, and the shluchim of Tishrei reached to this point. The people here are going to have to keep 2 days Yontif. Why? Because since the people of Tishrei can't reach here, that's as far as we'll go. Because with Geyser, if you let them keep 1 Yontif, they might keep 1 Yontif over here. If they keep 1 Yontif here, they may keep 1 Yontif here. So therefore, says Rabbi Yochanan, the shluchim of Tishrei of Nisan are contingent upon where the people of Tishrei can reach. Even though the people of Nisan could hear earlier, it doesn't make a difference. If Tishrei can't get there, we'll make them keep 2 days, Gezerah in the future, because they'll say, oh, we kept only 1 day in Nisan, we'll keep 1 day in Tishrei. One more time. Machus Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan begins achraza. He wanted this known. Kol heicha de mate shluchei Nisan. Any place the shluchei Nisan can reach. V'lei mate shluchei Tishrei. The shluchei Tishrei can't reach. La'abu treyume. The people in Nisan will have to make 2 days yontif. Gezeri Nisan utter Tishrei goyzer. The people in Nisan utter the people in Tishrei that they didn't reach at this time. Rabbi Ivoi bar Nagre, who was a Talmud Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Chia bar Abba, who was a Talmud Rabbi Yochanan, Igloi lahu asur, they came to this place, that the shluchei Nisan reached, and the shluchei Tishrei didn't reach. And nonetheless, since the people in Nisan reached there, they kept it 1 day. They didn't say anything. Rabbi Yochanan heard, it was his Talmidim, and he was makbid. Amalahu he said to them, Lav Amri, did I not tell you? Lav Amri l'chu, heiche demote shluchi Nisan, v'lemote shluchi Tishrei, la'abdu cheyume, gzeru nitzvot Tishrei. So in other words, 2 mices that are speaking about Kiddush, the Chodesh, one with Levi, vis-a-vis the people of Babel, keeping the 11th day, even though it was Yom Kippur in Eretz Yisrael, because they didn't hear it al pi Eidim, or 2, a special din, that when Eidim, Shluchim would go out, the people in Nisan would have to keep the 2 days Yontif because the people in Tishrei are keeping 2 days Yontif, to ensure the people of Tishrei are keeping 2 days Yontif. Okay, we're at the Chaf Aleph Amid Aleph and Mamish Nesmach in the middle of the page. The first word on the line is Rava. Rava Havi Rogol, Havi Yosef Panisa, Trey Yume. Rava used to fast 2 days. Guys, Rava used to fast 2 days. Zimnin Chada, one time, Ishtakich Kavasei, right? They found, like him, that El had been a Malay. In other words, why did he keep 2 days? He was Mesupik. Is today Yod or Yod Aleph? So to ensure...
Ready for your number in queue, and please wait for the next available rep from our case management team.
Okay, whoever that is, it's very nice to hear, but not in the middle of share. Now, so, guys, you hear? it was Yud. He didn't know if they made Elul Chasra Malay, even though Bimei Ezra, it always was Chasar. So usually you know exactly when Yom Kippur is, but vis-a-vis Amal, it happened. So he would keep 2 days Yontif. He would keep.
Abraham, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm waiting.
Why is this being interrupted?
Okay, you
Okay. Ashre Kavasei, and they found out what? They found that, like him, that they blew it. So this is great kasha, guys. Guys, listen to this great kasha. Right. Let me just get a Gemara. I'll read you Gemara. Hang on. This is Gemara on Daf Chaf Aleph Amid Beis in Masechta Tainis. Right? The Gemara says, Abba Umna have asile shalme misifta the rakia kol yuma. Every day, this person, Abba Umni, was a doctor. He would get a bas kol from Shemayim, a grease from Shemayim every day. Ulabaya kol ma'ala yuma the Shabbat. Abaya got it every Shabbos. The Rava kol ma'ala yuma the Kippurei. Rava would get it every Yom Kippur. So each one got a grease from Shemayim. So the Gemara goes through. Abayu had a Chalisha Zadas because Abba Umna got more. Rava had Chalisha Zadas because Abayu got it every week and he only got it on Erev Yom Kippur. Fred the Gemara Gavaldi Kasha, guys. Says the Aruch Haner, if you see that he got greased from Shemayim every Erev Yom Kippur, so why did he keep 2 days? Shemayim would tell him when Yom Kippur is. He would know. Every Erev Yom Kippur, he would get a grease from Shemayim. He would know. So Fred the Aruch Haner, why is he keeping 2 days? Obviously, he knows when it is because the Shemayim, they would call him. Great kasha, no? Listen, the teretz is better than the kasha. He says, the reason he got it all those 2 days was because he kept 2 days. In Shemayim, they felt bad for him. They felt bad. He was keeping 2 days. So what do? They would grease him area of Yom Kippur and say, you don't have to keep 2 days. Tomorrow is Yom Kippur. So that's how we know. In other words, that was his schar. The schar of keeping 2 days. Then Shemayim, they went ahead and they told him exactly when it is. Geschmack is pshat, no? Okay, weiter. Rav Nachman, Yosef b'Tanisa, Kuli Yom Kippura. He regular like Yom Kippur, he fasted. L'orta in the evening, Asahu Gavra, came along a person from, I guess, Eretz Yisrael, Amalei, Lamacha, Yuma Rapta, Marovan. Tomorrow, is in Eretz Yisrael is going to be Yom Kippur. In other words, you fasted, now you're going to have to fast again tomorrow. So Amalei Mehecha'at, Rav Nachman told, asked him, where are you from? So Amalei told him, I'm from Midmaharanya. I'm from this place, Midmaharya. So Amalei, Dam Tehei Achrisai. He was speaking about himself that Dam should be after him. If you look at the word Midmaharya, you see Dam Tehei Achrisai. It's in the trick on the, you have a letter from each word over there, that he's going to pay the price as a result. He's going to pay the price as a result. Kori Aleha. So Rav Nachman applied the following pasuk to himself. What pasuk? Kalim hoya roitfeinu. Said Kalim hoya roitfeinu. Anyway, Kalim hoya roitfeinu. Kalim means fierce was the ones who were chasing after us, meaning applying to him that they got him, that now he has to keep 2 days. Shalach le Rav Huna bar Ovin l'Rava. Kad chozis de moshcha to kufas teves at shitza benitzin. If you see that kufas at teves comes into the 16th day of Nisan, avela hushasa, that year should be a nibiyah. Okay, outside, guys, outside. We know there are 4 kufas, right? It's kufas Tishrei, Teves, right? Nisan and Tammuz. Each one is 91 days and 7.5 hours. Now we go after the lunar year, but the solar year impacts upon us. Bishul Peiris takes after the solar year. We had this earlier in the Masechta. Bishul Peiris takes care of the solar year, is Mavashal the Peiris. So we need that the kufa of Nisan, should be synonymous with the Lavana of, it should be within the kufa of Nisan, the 91 days that begin with Nisan should be when Nisan, in the Lavana of Nisan. If you have Teves, if you have the Teves falling into the Nisan, you know then what? That it's too early because the crop is not ripening yet. So if you have the Tkufa of Teves, the 365, like this year, if we would make a calendar, Teves would be well into Nisan. The Tkufa would be well into Nisan. The 300, those 91 days of that Tkufa, of the winter Tkufa, would be falling into what? Into Nisan. We need the Tkufa of Nisan to be in Nisan. So if that's the case, you make an Ibiyah to go ahead and pull it back. You make an Ibiyah to pull it back. So that's what he's saying over here. He says, if Kadchos is the Moshcha Tchufis Teves, if you see Tchufis Teves goes ahead and pulls at Shitza ben Nisan until the 16th day of Nisan, Avral Hushasa, you go ahead and make a Nibiyah. And don't consider that the Acherim who are a Das Yachid, who say, we make the calendar Chasamale, 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 Chasamale. Remember, the only difference in year to year is 4 days. Tichsiv, Shomer es HaChodesh HaAviv. What does that mean? Watch the Chodesh HaAviv. Literally, watch the month of the ripening. Shomer Aviv. Be careful that the fruit which is caused by Aviv, the solar season, the ripening, Shel Tkufa, Sheyehei B'Chodesh Nisan, that should be when Nisan is still around. Nisan, guys, we view the Levana from the day 1 to day 14. That's when it's beginning to go ahead and be Machadesh. Then you get the full moon, and then it begins to wane again. We want to make sure that the Tkufa of the ripening is in that time. So even if you consider that you don't want to go according to the Acherim, you should, because of this pasuk. The pasuk is telling us, make sure that the Chodesh Aviv, the ripening season, which is the Tekufa of Nisan, should be B'Chodesh Levana, in the time the Levana is Mechadesh itself in Nisan, which is the first 14 days of Nisan. And therefore make sure it gets in there within those 14 days, up to day 15, including 14 up to 15. That's the pasuk, and therefore make sure that happens. Amalu Rav Nachman lahanu nechusei yama. Rav Nachman said to these sailors, "Asan de lo yediyasei b'kfisa diyarcha." You who don't know exactly when the Nisan is, you don't know when the Yarech is, but Nisan ki chazisa sahara de mashlam yuma. When you see the moon full, in the morning, b'irich chamisa, go ahead and burn your chametz. Emes mashlam. When is it a full moon? B'chamisa, it's on the 15th. Aiva non ba'ar be'isam mevarinon. Right? We get rid of it on the 14th. So what kind of advice is this? And the Gemara, alma mashlam. In the people on the sea, since there's no obstructions, there's nothing, there's clarity of the sky, there's nothing in going ahead, and I guess it's more clear of the water, there's nothing obstructing them. In that case, mashlam, the moon completes itself on the 14th day. So when the moon completes itself in the 14th cycle, you'll know that's when you have to get rid of your chametz. On a base. Al shnei chadashim mechal es haShabbos. On 2 chadashim we mechal Shabbos, and the Eidim will go ahead. The Eidim say the Chodesh. They were able to go ahead and come to Yerushalayim and be mechal Shabbos. They're able to come outside the Tchum. Whether they can do other various is machlokas rishonim, but they can come outside the Tchum. Al Nisan v'al Tishrei. We quoted this Gemara before on the other day. Shebehen shluchim yotzim l'Surya, because these days the shluchim would go out l'Surya ubehem misaknin es hamayadais, and they would go ahead and be mitakin the mayadais. So therefore they would be mechalel in order to know exactly when Rosh Chodesh is, because we have to send it out because of the Pesach and because of the Mayadim of Yom Kippur and Sukkot. They know exactly when the carbon would be. In other words, you'd have to know when Rosh Chodesh is in order to bring the carbon on Rosh Chodesh, because in Beis Hamikdash was Kayim, you bought a special carbon on Rosh Chodesh. So therefore, they'd be mechalel. Forget about sending out. They mechalel gufa for the Beis Hamikdash itself. They have to know when Rosh Chodesh is. So they mechalel Shabbos to get there. Oh, it's Rosh Chodesh. We got to go ahead. You saw it. We're going to bring. We know exactly when to bring it, today or tomorrow, whether to bring the carbon musaf. So two shots. So not in the Zman HaBayis, only Nisan and Tishrei. The Zman HaBayis, anytime mechalel. Now again, there's big distinction between the Eidim and the Shluchim. The Eidim are coming in. The Shluchim are going out. Good. We said Shluchim went out. We had a Mishnah. Shluchim went out on only various months. We had the Mishnah that Aleza Chadashim, that the shluchim would go out. They went out on Yuches Amud Aleph, right? The Shisha Shluchim on Nisan because of Pesach, and Av because of the Tainus, Elul, Rosh Hashanah, so on and so forth. 6 months. Fred Gemara Al Beis Chadashim V'Suloi says over here Beis Chadashim V'Suloi. What do you mean? Urminu Al Vov Chadashim Shluchim Yaitz. So you have a stira from Am Mishnah to the Mishnah Daf Yud Ches. The Mishnah Daf Yud Ches said six times they went out. Over here it says they only went out twice. Amar Rabbi no Hachi Kamar. Al kulam shluchim yotzim mi be'erev. On all of them, the shluchim went out in the evening. Al nisnim al tishrei at yishmu pi bezdin mekudesh. Okay, let's say it's the 30th day. It's the 29th day, and you saw the Levana, so you know that tomorrow is going to be Rosh Chodesh. But when you show up in Bezdin, guys, it's already nighttime. Bezdin didn't convene at night. But since you saw it, you know unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, that the next day they're going to make Rosh Chodesh. It's a technicality that they can't say Mekudesh at night, but you know already. Every other month, the Shluchim would go out. Every other month, the Shluchim would go out. Erev, that evening, they'd go out. They didn't have to wait till the next day. On Tishrei and on Nisan, they would only go out the next morning after they heard the Bezdin say Mekudesh. They couldn't go out Erev. They'd only go out when the Bezdin said Mekudesh. So therefore, it behooves us for Eidim to come Nisan and Tishrei in order to facilitate the Eidim leaving as soon as possible. Because again, they have to wait longer. But if the Eidim come in, we'll be able to get the Shluchim out earlier if they come during the day. Masha'en came. The other things, no, they can go out anyway, side by side. So that's the Pshat in the Gemara. Pshat in the Gemara is, Hachi Kamar, Al Kulan Shluchim Yoitzim Mi Be'erev. They went out, but they went out when? In the evening, even before they heard Bezdin Mekudesh. In a scenario when they know Bezdin automatically is Mekadosh Levana. Al Nisim Yal Tishrei Yishmi Pi Bezdin Mekudesh. Our Mishnah says when they would go out, only after they heard the Bezdin say Mekudesh. Tanya Nami Hachi, Al Kulan Yoitzim Be'erev. On all these 6 times they go out what? In the evening. Al Nisim Yal Tishrei Yishmi Pi Bezdin Mekudesh. Until they heard they Bezdin Mekudesh. So Abaye was mechab into a brisa. Tanabanan. Minayin shemechal nalein as a Shabbos. How do you know you mechal Shabbos? Again, I think Heshi was bothered by this the other day. How do you know you can be mechal Shabbos to go ahead and report to Bezdin? So Talmud Loimer, it says Eila Modei Hashem Asher Tikru Oisam B'Mayadam. These are the Modei Hashem that you should call out B'Mayadam. Tikru Oisam. There's a mitzvah to call them out B'Mayadam. B'Mayadam. We learn out, for example, by the Carbon Tamid. It's brought B'Mayadam. I feel it b'Shabbos. You bring it B'Mayadim. That what? It's a mitzvah to call out Rosh Chodesh B'Mayadam. And if Rosh Chodesh is on Shabbos, then you get there. It's a mitzvah to go ahead and call it out on Shabbos. So therefore, you see that one is a pasuk Mechal Shabbos. I could think so I would think just like the Eidim coming on Mechalel, so too the Shluchim on Mechalel till they can do this shlichus. Regarding establishing Rosh Chodesh, calling Rosh Chodesh, they're sent out. They're Mechalel. V'yat Mechalel kiyumam. But to go ahead and inform, to be Makayim exactly when they know when Rosh Chodesh is, that they're not Mechalel. So it's a Xeris Akos. Ukshoy Beis HaMikdash Kayim, when the Beis HaMikdash was still established, Mechalel Afal Kulam, if they takonas HaKorban. So, right, we said, yeah, they had to know, the Mishnah said, when exactly Rosh Chodesh was regarding being the Korban of Rosh Chodesh. Initially, they were Mechalel on everything. Mishachar Beis HaMikdash, Amalehem Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai. If Yesh Korban, is there a Korban now? So Eskino, one of the famous takonas of Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai, who made many takonas, Shloim Mechalel El Al Nisan Ve'al Tishrei Bilvad. That only Mechalel Tishrei and Nisan Bilvad. Next Mishnah. Bein Shnor Ba'alul, whether you see it clearly. Bein Shloi Nira Ba'alul, well, you don't see it clearly. Mechalel of the Shabbos, Mechalel Shabbos. In other words, you might think the following: if it's clear the Levuna, so why bother coming? Bezdin must know about it. Why should I bother? And says the Tanakama, it doesn't make a difference. whether it's clear that you could see it or not clear, right? Nonetheless, Rabbi Yossi says no. Rabbi Yossi disagrees. Rabbi Yossi Yomer, if you see it clearly, you're not. The Meister, there was 40 zugim, 40 pairs, 80 people, 40 pairs. The ik from Rabbi Akiva Balud, and Rabbi Akiva was ma'akiv them in Lud. He stopped them from coming. Shalach le Rabbi Gamliel, in ma'akiv ates arabim, nimsa machshilun lasad lavai. Rabbi Gamliel told Rabbi Akiva, if you're going to go ahead and be ma'akiv, you're going to go ahead and be stopping lasad lavai. It's very interesting. Rabbi Akiva holds guys that tchum's the raisa. He was ma'akiv them in Lud, from Lud to Yerushalayim is outside the tchum. So Orich from there points out that he was ma'akiv them because he holds his daraisa. So it was the Rabbanon l'chayr, why did he ma'akiv them? But so he holds it's daraisa. They were coming from outside the tchum. So therefore, why he was ma'akiv them? And Rabbi Gamliel admonished Rabbi Akiva, and the Gemara is going to have charata if that was Rabbi Akiva. We're going to see it with somebody else. Now the Gemara is stelzing on the lashon of alul. What's the lashon of alul? Clear. My mashma the alul lishna the naglihu. How do you know it's the lashon of what of clear? How do you know lishna that lishna of that's the lashon of being clear? You're saying alul means where you can see it clearly. Amar Avavo says Avavo. Amakra, the pasuk says. It's a pasuk in Tehillim. It says Imrois Hashem Amorais. This is speaking about the Torah. Imrois Hashem Amorais Tehairos. Kesef Sorif Ba'alil La'aretz. Mizukot Shivasayim. It's referring Shivasayim 49 times. Shivasayim 7 times 7. We're going to dash that in a second. But the lashon Sorif Ba'alil, it's clear. So you see the lashon Imrois Hashem Amorais Tehairos. Kesef Sorif Ba'alil. The words of Hashem are pure, like purified silver, clear to the world, clear. So you see, it's clear. Rabbi Shmuel Chad Amar, when it says Shiva Sayim, we're dashing the Shiva Sayim, we're digressing. Nun Sharei Bina Nivru Ba'olam. Over on Mem Chaf Aleph on the base, after the Gemara, we're about 7 lines from the end of Shir. So Nun Sharei Bina, there were 50 Sharei Bina that Nivru Ba'olam were created in the world. Moshe got 49. Shenemar, ma'at me'elokim, is missing a little bit. Okay? And continues the same man the Amar, either Rabbi Shmuel, we don't know who said what. Bikish Koheles limsa divrei chayfetz. Koheles also wanted to find words of delight. Bikish Koheles liyos k'Moshe. He wanted to be like Moshe, to know all 49. Yatz the Baskel of Amaloi, the end of the pasuk. Because of Yosher Divrei Emetz, the words of truth are written down properly. Meaning, it's V'loikon Navi Yisrael. What is the words of the Torah written properly? There'll never be anyone like Moshe, so you can't be like Moshe. The words of the Torah written properly, you want to be like Moshe, you can't be like Moshe. Only Moshe can know 49 and you can't. So, Moshe. So therefore, according to the one opinion, Shlomo is not like Moshe. The Chad Omar and one of the other ones, we don't know if either Rabbi Shmuel Omar, B'neviim loikam, b'malachim kam, loikam navi od k'Moshe. There won't be another navi, but there might be a king like Moshe. So if there's a king like Moshe, Shlomo was like Moshe regarding the 49 Sharei Bina. Elamani Mekayim Bikesh Kahelis Limtza Divrei Chayfetz. What was he looking for? If he got it, if he attained this 49, what was Shlomo wanted to do? Bikesh Kohelis Lodem Dinan Shebelev. He wanted to go ahead and be able to judge just by his own gut, by his own hargasha, without Eidim Hasra. I guess Shlomo was able to ascertain exactly the din, as no cases about Shlomo, famous Maisa with the babies, which we're going to see Bez Hashem and Yavamis. Lodem Dinei Shebelev, Shloi Be'edim, Shloi B'Hasra. Yatsa Baskal V'Amaloi, because of Yosef Deriyemis, the words of Hashem are proper. What does that mean? Al Pishnayim Eidim. It says Al Pishnayim Eidim, and not what? Through your Hagasha. Amid Aleph, Maisa Shavu Yosef Me'aboyim Zug V'Ikim Rebbe Kiva. There was a Maisa where 40 Zug, 80 people showed up, and Rebbe Kiva stopped them. So Tanya, Amr Rebbe Chas V'Shalom Rebbe Kiva Ikvan. Chas V'Shalom, the great Rebbe Kiva would not have stopped this person from coming. They wouldn't have stopped the Aiden from coming. Elish Jesfer Roisha Shel Goder Ikvan. It was this head honcho, this governor Jesfer, who stopped them. V'sholach Rabbi Gamliel baridu megadlusa, and he took him down. He took Jesfer down from his position for having stopped them. He said chas v'shalom, and in fact, as he got pink slipped as a result. Thank you for listening. A lot easier than Friday's stuff.